What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and we are back with your regularly scheduled program here at Bourbon of the Week. We did like a half-dry January. We went until the 22nd. We started 3 days early because we were sick in December. We did a lot of drinking in December, so we decided to take a break, and then a little bit longer of a break when it comes to editing and doing all these videos and everything. It was a nice mental break from all of this YouTube stuff. That being said, we are just getting started here in 2024, and we are coming out with a banger, a 2023 release. This is Midwinter's Night Dram, Act 11, Scene 8 for me. But if this is your first time checking out Bourbon of the Week, I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button down below so you can get all of the videos that we do. We do a lot of fun things here on Bourbon of the Week, live streams, a lot of funny content when it comes to shorts on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok as well. So make sure you follow along. This right here, a Midwinter's Night Dram, Act 11, Scene 8. Let's pour this up. If you don't already know, we go through price, taste, drinkability. We'll talk about those as we go, but we always start with drinkability. How much ethanol kick does this have for 98.6 proof? Cheers, y'all. You want to know how long it's been since I put out a video? I forgot my catchphrase. It's time for the traditional sip, y'all. Our first one of 2024. One more time. Porty. I can't believe I forgot my own catchphrase in my very first video of 2024. You guys got to hold me to a higher standard than that, because we are going to be holding these bottles to a higher standard in 2024. In 2023, we had a lot of 9s, a lot of high 8s, and I think it should be very difficult to get to a 9. That being said, we're going to change the criteria a little bit. It's still price, taste, drinkability. Our average price point is actually going to go up. So we said that 75 range. I almost want to put it at like 85 to 90, but I do want to know in the comment section below, what do you think like the average price for a bottle of bourbon is today, or rye, because this is obviously a finished rye? What is the average standard price? Not your special releases or anything like that, because they're always going to be a little bit higher, but it isn't $50 anymore, which is what we had it at before. I said 75 on my old fits, but I think it's closer to that 85 to 90 range, but I want to know in the comment section below what you think. But for drinkability, we're going to say 7.0 if it drinks right at its proof. Let's get into this bottle right here at 98.6 proof. Now let's talk about this bottle a little bit before we get into the drinkability score on this, because it does matter. This is High West Distillery. This is their Midwinter's Night Dram. This is actually their Rendezvous Rye, finished in port barrels. The Rendezvous Rye is 80% rye, 20% malted barley as one of the mash bills, and a 95.5 rye coming from MGP. They do source the 80/20, I believe. Now they are doing their own distillate, but I don't think that's what they have in here. That being said, the port finish on this is what's going to be important, because when you have a rye that's a 95.5 and an 80/20, you're going to get a lot of spiciness, but that port finish really tones down all that spiciness and in turn tones down that ethanol kick on this. So for 98.6 proof, it's not supposed to drink crazy hot, and this one doesn't drink hot at all because of that port finish. Let's give it a score after one more sip. Now, in the past, we used to give out 8.0 if it drank right at its proof, but for me, I feel like 7.0 is a more fair spot for that. That gives us more room up to get closer to that 8 if it does drink really well for its proof, but at the end of the day, it also gives us a lot of room to work down to really hold these bottles to a standard when it comes to drinkability, because that's what a lot of us are looking for, some high-proof whiskey that's still easy, at least easy enough to drink. So for this bottle right here at 98.6 proof with that port finish on it, at a 7.0 being our base, I'm going to go like right in the middle of that, go like a 7.54 when it comes to drinkability. So before that would have been an 8.54, and we already have a great spot. So 7.54 is where we're going to put this when it comes to drinkability, and I'm going to finish this off quick. Now here's the deal. During our Bourbon Bomb of the Week, we're going to compare this to Act 9 and Act 10, so I won't pour too much as we get into taste and drinkability on this. We're also going to do a quick nosing during these videos. We didn't used to provide enough information when it came to nosing before, but I feel like we have enough of a grasp on it now that we can at least give you some information when it comes to a nose. Let's try that right now. So the big thing about these ryes, especially these Midwinter's finish ryes, is it definitely gives you that Christmassy feel to it, right? It feels like you walked into a candy shop on Christmas Eve. You get that cinnamon on here, you get like that pine almost when it comes to like an evergreen flavor profile, and you get that on the nose on this. The crazy thing about this particular release that I remember compared to the other two is there is a lot more of that port finish on this. The grapes and the plums on this is absolutely out of this world when it comes to the nose. I love the nose on this. The question is, does it match when it comes to the taste? And we're going to find out right here. That's actually fantastic. I would enjoy smelling this. Like if somebody put this in a candle, I could light this candle and I would enjoy smelling this. But let's get into it. Time for the traditional sip one more time. I had to because I messed up. So here's the deal, I'll be honest with you guys. This bottle right here tastes very good. The problem is it doesn't taste very good for me. I'm not a big wine finish guy. The previous releases, I don't think I liked 10 as much as 9. I think I loved 9. I didn't love 10 at all. But I will say I think this is better than 10, but worse than 9 for my particular flavor profile. If you enjoy that wine finish, there's a lot of that influence on this, and I'm just not for it. That mixed with a little bit of oak on the end. Now this is apparently, the Rendezvous Rye, I believe they say is like 4 to 7 years in the press release. I don't know how long they finished this in the port barrels. So you're talking 4 to 7 years when it comes to this bottle right here. I can't imagine they're doing this for years in the port barrel, but there is a lot of wine which brings out a lot of tannins and a lot of oaks on this. So that mixed with that wine flavor, it's just not for me personally. I can see people loving this. I can see people who enjoy port finish or wine finish loving this, but for me specifically, it's not my favorite when it comes to whiskey. The trouble here is it's not bad. There's nothing that's off-putting about this glass. Again, it's just a personal preference at this point, which I feel like is usually a cop-out, but I'm not gonna give it a great score only on my personal preference. But I am here to provide you information about what it tastes like, and for me, I get a lot of grapes, a lot of that plum influence that I talked about on the nose, because you get a lot of that wine influence, and then again, dry tannin and oak on the end of this. Not a lot of spice, a little bit of cinnamon on this for me, but a lot more sweetness than I was expecting at a 95 and an 85 rye. 95 and 80 rye, sorry, when it comes to the mash bill. Yeah, see, for me it's tough, and I know I just said this 5 times, but there's nothing bad. There's nothing off-putting about this glass. If you like wine finishes, you're going to like this a lot more than me. I'm going to go like a 6.92. I would put it lower if I didn't like it. Just because it's not for me, I am giving it a little bit of a boost because I think it tastes good. It's just not what I'm looking for in a whiskey when it comes to that wine finish. So a 6.92 is where we're going to put it when it comes to taste. And as you may or may not know, last but certainly not least on this, we're going to get in a price on this, and this bottle comes in at an MSRP at $150. Now that's the same as last year, but it was a jump from Act 9, I believe, is when they made the jump. So $150 for this particular bottle right here is another tough thing. That's why I'm saying like $90 should be that price point. Every special release is 100, 150 plus. So at this point, I feel like we have to say $90 for your standard bottle because nobody's buying shelfers anymore and doing reviews on them. Nobody's putting out reviews on shelf whiskey anymore. Unless you're like a newer content creator, all you're getting is special releases because that's what the people want to hear about. So at $150, am I mad at it? No, but this did go from 112,000 bottles last year to like 184 or 186,000 this year. So it's like a 60% increase when it comes to the actual numbers of bottles released. So is this even a limited release anymore at 186,000 bottles? I don't know. You guys got to tell me. I'm trying to think right now, 189,000 bottles at $150 a pop MSRP. I know they're not selling it for that, right? That's what retail is, so obviously they're selling it for less than that. But let's just think about that. Let's call it 200,000 times 150. That's almost $30 million when it comes to one particular release. That's crazy to me. I've never thought about it in that sense with how many bottles get released. Again, High West isn't selling them for $150. They're selling it at a price point to the distributors to sell it for $150, but that's just wild to me. This bottle right here, again, because it's a special release, it deserves to be a little bit more money. At 189,000 bottles, you probably didn't have as much trouble getting it this year as you did years in the past. Hopefully they continue that trend because people do that as long as the whiskey continues to get better with it, because if you're just putting out crappy whiskey year after year, then eventually people will stop buying it and then you have an influx rather than less, and then supply and demand, you get the point. That being said, let me think on this one more time on $150 on this bottle. The question I've been asking myself lately is, am I upset that I spent the amount of money that I spent on this bottle? Would I be upset if I spent $150 on this bottle? Now, drinkability and taste kind of even themselves out when it comes to that average of right around 7, which means this should be about a $90 bottle, but it's not, it's $150. Now, I'm not upset that I spent $150 on it. I'm glad I have it in my collection at MSRP because I am here in Pennsylvania. I will say, I think it deserves to be a little bit below average. So if 7.0 is average, at an average drinkability and an average taste, and then an average price of 90, we do have to go under that. So I'm gonna go like a 6.43 when it comes to price on this. I'm not mad at the price. It's just not my favorite for that price. Now comes the fun part where we get to blind taste some whiskey next to each other. We got 9, we got 10, we got 11. We're running out of both 9 and 10. So let's see how this goes. So we're going to keep this short and sweet. I'm going to drink through these a couple of times. We'll talk about it as we go, and we'll try and figure out which one we like the best, strictly off taste. Let's drink this. That's hotter than whatever I was drinking right now. That I can already tell you. Whew! All of these are the same proof, by the way. A lot more of a rye spice on that, but again, a little bit lower when it comes to the proof than this one right here. I feel like this one right here has got to be 9, and I haven't even drank the last one yet. Oh, now I don't know. This one's hot again. So I just had to look. I didn't even put these in the order. So A is the one we were drinking tonight. B is Act 10. B is 10, and then C is 9. So 11, 10, 9. I guess that works out anyway. I don't know if I burnt off my taste buds when drinking a couple of these, but now I don't get any of those port notes, and that's what I'm looking for. One of these has to have heavy port notes, and I'm not getting it right now. The ease of drinking this one right here alone is giving me a lot more hope for it than these other two. These two drink hot. This one's hot and delicious. This one drinks easy and isn't that delicious. It's still delicious, don't get me wrong, but not compared to this one. And then this one over here is hot and not delicious at all. Something funky going on over there. I mean, I don't really have anything to add. That's what I'm going to stick with. This right here is definitely my favorite one. Although it drinks a little bit hotter, I don't think it drinks hotter than this one, but this one right here is just super funky to me. And then this one, with how easy it is to drink, I'm going to put it at number 2. So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, and let's find out what they are. Let's start with our third place glass, and that's going to be glass A, which is obviously, just to make sure, yes, the one we are drinking tonight. This right here drank a lot hotter this time around, but at the end of the day, you still pick up those port finishes on this, and I don't truly love that port finish. But let's find out what our winner was, and the answer is, hold on, a little bit left, C, which is actually Act 9. I did think that was going to win, but that does mean that Act 10, B, was in second place. Biggest surprise of the night is definitely liking Act 10 over Act 11. Now, I don't know if you have all 3 of these bottles in your collection, but if you do, put in the comment section below which one you like the best if you try this blind. But let's get back to our score and see how our bottle tonight did. So very surprising results indeed, and this bottle came in at a 6.96. Now in the past, that would be a very bad score, but we're talking a 7.0 average across the board. So this is right below average, and it's not my favorite when it comes to taste. Again, a little bit high on the price point, but I don't think I can knock it too much, especially with all of the other special releases that come out at or way above that price point. So a 6.96 in this year, in 2024, I think is going to be a pretty average score, and I like it right around there. But hey, that's all for today. I appreciate you guys stopping by. They don't call me Bourbon of the Week to put out a video every month, so make sure you click that like and subscribe button as we get things rolling back in 2024. We do have our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition, obviously coming out in March, but if you're a patron, you're going to have some cool ways to enter, so you can try and win some prizes along the way. Check out that Patreon page, link in the description below. Follow me on Instagram. We just reached 12,000. We do some fun things over there as far as giveaways as well. Make sure you check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, subscribe, Patreon. Did I mention anything else? Forget anything else? I don't think so. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Stay hunting your favorite bottle of bourbon. Or in this case, your 6.96 bottle of bourbon. Cheers, y'all.